Hello there, gamerinos and gamerinas, or should I say, Yahoo minasan! As you can see, I went on a little road trip through all of Japan with the new Forza Horizon 6. Now, in this video I won't critique or review or whatever you wanna call it, the game as a racing game, because I really suck at those and don't even like playing them all that much. There are exceptions, mostly party racers. And I do enjoy driving around a tastefully designed, vibrant open world. I mean, I play GTA mostly for the driving and not the crime stuff. But even so, I'm not a car guy. I don't care about car manufacturers or about specs. I can enjoy the aesthetic designs of a car, but that's it. I'm not into car porn or anything. So yeah, I'm definitely not the target audience for a racing game. But I am into exploration. I care about level design and I have a huge adoration for the country of Japan. And that last part is what got me interested in the new Forza Horizon. Which, frankly, is as good a reason as any other to get into the game because it doesn't really distinguish itself from any other modern racing game. It doesn't come with an especially noteworthy campaign or story. The main selling point pretty much is the game world. I mean, just look at the opening. It's a kind of playable montage of different racing events flowing into each other. Exactly like in the Crew Motorfest, or this game's own prequel. And the progression is also pretty much the same. Have a bunch of different racing challenges all over the virtual map, compete to raise your rank and unlock more challenges to eventually unlock the final mission. Even a much smaller scale and more niche game like Tokyo Drift Master follows this approach. All the racing games are blending into each other and become one smooth grey sludge, kinda like open world action games. And here people always said that Mario games all play the same, which is already absurd, but this one franchise offers more variety than a whole subgenre nowadays. When you boot up the game, you first need to create your driver, your avatar within the game world. And they are all fuck ugly. They all look so derpy. How can the pre-designed faces, that you can't even alter or customize, look so incredibly bad? These days, there have to exist pre-made assets for character creation, so how can a major AAA game have such ugly faces? On the same note, buying new outfits later in the game isn't fun at all, especially for women, because the rest of your character's body looks as awful. No fancy dresses for me, not with that body. Not that it matters all too much. You're in the car for 99% of the game and not really all that visible in there. Just for some showcases or during the victory animation do you actually see the character. And you don't speak, you don't do anything. There is not even a real reason to have a character. They could have just given you a standard driver and be done with it. Or maybe a guy and a gal to offer some choice. Which leads into another issue that I don't intend to dwell on for too long, I promise. After choosing a face and hairstyle, you choose a body type. A, B and C. What? Alright, so a small waist but no tits? Got it. No real effort, just the bare minimum to get to say, we are inclusive. Next up is personal pronouns. And look, I really don't care either way. I never had a problem with calling it body type over sex. I don't care if you get an additional selection to decide how characters refer to you. I play all kinds of characters in video games that are different from me. I play as whoever I want to play, whoever fits the experience best to me. And more options to play more varied characters is a good thing. And hey, if this makes people who want to feel represented in a game, as silly as that might be at times, genuinely happy, then I'm all on board. Though I'd rather have it done with good characters in good games and not with meaningless options and lazy half-baked non-mechanics. Because you know who else doesn't really care? These developers, these studios, these showrunners and movie makers. None of them care. They just see a trend to exploit, not necessarily for immediate compensation, but for power, for influence over other creatives, over current or potential employees, over their audience. To the people who do really care about all this, I say this with all the sympathy and love my cold dead gamer heart can muster. You are pawns. You are tools, only moments away from being discarded when the next thing comes along. That's why all this stuff is always just in the backdrop. Two women kissing in the background of a short scene you can easily cut away from and lose nothing. A sticker on a pinboard, an empty pronoun selection at the start of the game. No one ever will refer to you directly in the game. They either talk to you, or an announcer only vaguely describes your circumstances. These pronouns are never used. They are just here, so the game fits the bare minimum requirement to count as inclusive or progressive. Do not accept this. If the developers don't want to put in all that stuff, alright, they don't have to. But if they go out of their way and include these themes, then they should actually include them in the story and the gameplay. Create actual alternative dialogue lines, have actual alternative interactions. But this here is just an empty gesture, and I'd wager it is not in good faith. We shouldn't applaud laziness. Again, Super Mario has tackled these issues better than any modern game running their self-promotion on it. So, when the game actually starts, you just arrive in Japan. Meet your two friends that are really nothing to speak of, they're quite bland. Get a new car, just because, and take off to qualify for the Horizon racing competition. That's pretty much it. There's a racing festival going on, you're part of it, go have fun. Back in the day, whenever these games had a story and weren't just a series of competitions you choose from a menu, the story was goofy and ridiculous. Underground organizations conducting illegal street races, gang turf wars. It was silly, but fun. But now, everyone is friendly, we have a good time, it's a big party, hashtag faster together. All the races are officially endorsed by a committee, surely there's a permit for every single one. Mainstream radio hosts promote the event. There's not even a real consequence for failing or doing badly during a race. We're just on vacation, driving around and collecting expensive cars, of course. This is the lowest stake power fantasy I have ever seen. And yeah, it is a power fantasy. We are just a chill dude or dudette, really down to earth, wearing baggy clothes, being cool and hip, making friends. Everyone likes us and praises us for our immaculate talent. And also we buy or just find the fastest and coolest and even rarest cars in existence. And if that isn't enough, we're also just buying up property in Japan to store all our ultra expensive cars. We are a fucking 1%er in this game that pretends to be just a regular person, just one of the guys. But well, that kind of explains why I'm not facing any consequences for negligently causing all these horrible traffic accidents. But okay, who cares about the damn story? About the bland and boring characters? This is a racing game. As long as the racing itself is fun and the tracks are entertaining, the game has done its job. And there are a lot of fun racing tracks and some good variety. Classic races, checkpoint chases, off-road races, time trials with special conditions, a bunch of special challenges, and lots of collectibles to mostly crash into. The driving feels a bit floaty to me, but again, I don't really play these sorts of games, so maybe it's supposed to feel that way. Though I have heard this complaint quite a few times from other players. And I didn't run into the same issue when I tried out the previous game. You see, I often had that issue that when I accelerated from even a standstill, my car immediately went into an uncontrollable drift. This didn't occur in Forza 5. Overall, the cars felt a lot heavier, more weighty in that game. So maybe there's an actual problem with the car handling in the new game. You're just floating away. And while the game goes for a realistic look and has all kinds of simulation-y elements, it's an arcade racer through and through. Smash through obstacles, drift and slide around, do the most amazing donuts, even rewind. But what about the thing that interested me the most about this game? The thing I am here for? How did they implement their virtual version of Japan? So let's hop in for a road trip adventure across the land of the rising sun. Well, part of it. I don't expect all the islands to be part of this game world. But certainly Honshu, the largest of Japan's islands. So I'm thinking about starting up in the north and traveling all the way down to Hiroshima. And that's not possible. Well, maybe I'm expecting a bit too much. This is pretty ambitious for any game, right? I mean, it would be as ludicrous as expecting an open world racing game to cover the entirety of the United States of America, right? Though, on the other hand, that game doesn't really exist anymore. Yeah, I know there is a sequel. So alright, let's turn it down a notch, go for the Instagram tour, starting in Tokyo and taking the scenic route to Kyoto. Of course not. Yeah, this game flaunts the slogan "Discover Japan" around, but there isn't all that much Japan in there. There is only one actual city in this game, which is Tokyo. No Yokohama, no Osaka, no nothing. Even the Fuji, arguably the most important landmark of Japan, is only tucked away in the skybox. You don't even get to visit that iconic location. Discover Japan? Far from it. It pretends to let you explore Japan, while you drive past bamboo groves and traditional wooden houses, all on the left side of the road no less. Listen to Ado and Yoasobi and baby metal. But it's misleading. It's an illusion. So the game world is broadly the area around Tokyo, well, loosely based on that area. It's kind of a mix between shrinking down the actual real world topography and an artist's interpretation of it. The Japanese Alps close up the north end of the map, and there are a few iconic landmarks sprinkled all over the game world with no rhyme or reason. Well, that's not entirely true. It surely made sense from a map design perspective, but it resulted in famous and historical locations ending up wherever. A fishing village located in Kansai is now on the east coast. The Kinkakuji temple is right next to Tokyo instead of Kyoto. This world is a lot smaller than expected, and most of it is stretches of meadows. That's why they put all these different tourist attractions just next to each other, to have something to look at every once in a while. These places are beautiful and a lot of care has been put into them. It is really nice to come across temples and little shrines, drive through a handful of the more iconic villages and heritage sites. But it feels more like references than an actual recreation, even adjusted for size, of Japan. I mean, they did a fine job with Tokyo itself. You can drive around the city, visit iconic locations like the Shibuya Scramble, Tokyo Station, and of course those distinct little alleyways. The Tokyo Tower or Shinjuku Gyoen. And the attention to detail is amazing with the road signs, with the many small stores and everything. Though the city is a bit empty. We're talking about one of the world's densest populated metropolitan areas, and there's barely anything going on in here. Aside from cars glitching out and jumping around. It's really not a huge issue, but it's fun to point out in a 150GB large $70 AAA game. Aside from that, and the hideous character models, the game looks great. The real world locations were crafted with care and attention to detail. They're a joy to behold. You drive past rice fields, along the Japanese coast, through bamboo forests, but all these feel a bit like set pieces. Still fun to discover and look at, but without much substance. And the world itself isn't all that varied. Yeah, the coast is a bit more tropic, the Alps have a bit of snow, but most of the map is just meadows and forests, with sometimes sunflowers and sometimes rice fields. This game's prequel offered so much more variety. They went out of their way to make every area look distinct. Maybe my expectations were too high, but this really comes off as lazy. This isn't the Japan road trip adventure I hoped for. It does barely more than Japanese Drift Master to make it feel authentic, but at more than double the asking price, with a premium edition priced at $120, selling you content you already bought in the previous entry most likely. And surely about 50 times the development budget. And yet, you can still spend hours driving around the beautiful landscape. I don't think the developers deserve that much of your money, because it doesn't feel like it builds upon its predecessor, more like a few steps back in some instances. But if you just want a showcase of a few very well recreated Japanese attractions, connected through a decent open world, all inside a competent racing game, then this game will offer a good amount of entertainment. But for me, it just wasn't what I was looking for. The main selling point for me was the promise of exploring a virtual Japan, and what I got was more of a theme park. A fun ride, but nothing I need to come back to. And with that, I'm off. I wish you an amazing day. This has been Rady, and I hope to see you again on the next game.